Christian living.
You are now listening to Land Attack with Ray and Kathy Land.
Welcome back to Christian Living Radio. This is Pastor G. I am here with Ray and Kathy Land. We're about to discuss something new and fabulous that just came out. Their book, 5 Key Principles to Freedom from the Inside Out. So, let's talk about this thing here. This is an amazing new journey for the two of you that God gave you. And this is actually the actual proof that I was privileged to see. So I didn't get to read the whole thing yet, but we did do some discussions on it and how God has given them this in a short period of time. And we talked about your cousin being in here, and I'll let you share that later. But let's talk about how this came to fruition and what God gave to you. Kathy, you going to start?
Yeah, so, as Ray and I have been blessed to be able to start, doors have been opening for us to be able to go back into the prisons and give our testimony and really just provide hope to those that are still incarcerated, because both he and I have both been incarcerated. As we begin to do that and give our testimonies, we started noticing that people were approaching us and saying, well, how can I do that?
Yeah.
How can I be successful like you've been successful? And so we were actually having dinner with a friend of ours, and he's actually a mentor of ours, Dr. Ray Kirkland. And we were talking about how doors were opening and we were going in and giving our testimonies. And he is actually the one who I believe just kind of spoke that to us and said, well, you need to write a book, because then you can then give them tangible structure and the tools that they need to be able to work on while they're still there. So when they come out, they're already able to put those things into action and have a plan. We all know we need to have a plan.
Yes.
And so that's where it really birthed out of, is Dr. Ray kind of spoke that. And I remember thinking in my head when he said that, I was like, that's crazy. Because sometimes we limit ourselves by how we think.
Yeah.
I had limited thinking. But as I begin to think more about that, and I believe God is the one who nudges us in those areas, I begin to think, well, because Ray never did. He's on board all the time. He's like ready to go. He's a visionary, so he could see it immediately.
Yes.
I'm a little bit slower coming sometimes. So we began to discuss how we were going to make that happen. We've never written a book before, so we just really asked God for guidance and to show us and give us the ability to do it.
Wow. So you're actually helping with them on the renewing of their mindset through what you guys have lived through and what God placed inside of you to put on paper.
Right.
And,
I think one of the things that we tend to do, like even myself, when I give my testimony, one of my common saying was, well, if God did it for me, he'll do it for you. And that's true. God will do it for you. But a lot of times we take all the responsibility and we put it on God.
Correct.
When in fact we have to be doing our part. We have to be doing the right things. God will strengthen us, give us the ability, open doors,
Yes.
but we have to be doing the right thing. And so that's what this book really does, is it gives people the ability to see how you need to put some things into place. You got to start thinking differently and have a plan and work towards some things, and God will begin to elevate you, and he'll give you the ability to accomplish great things like write a book.
The Bible says write the vision down and make it plain, and then you can run after it. It's in Habakkuk 2 something. So we started writing it down, and actually what we started doing is every 6 months we go on what we call a vision retreat to make sure, because sometimes we could be so busy doing stuff, so we'll go away for a weekend. So after Dr. Ray spoke that to us, we started talking about it. We went on a vision retreat. We took our Bibles, we took notes, and we just prayed and just sat down and like, what do we do to get where we are, and what did we do when we came home, and we just started writing it down, praying about it, writing it down. We did about 3 of those. It took about a year, I mean, it took about a year, but
He says that like it's a long time, but that's not the.
Oh, because Ray wanted it done right away.
the guy was all in there, man. It's anointed, man.
This is my brother, boy.
It's some
Oh,
good tangible
fire.
stuff. And let me say, we're already going in there teaching it, and guys are already like, whoa, feeling it, coming out. And every time we go in there, we done taught it like 3 or 4 times already. And God, man, it's
That's
awesome.
good. So how many, let's use this as another testimony. How many people are actually able to come out of prison, write a book, go back into prisons, teach, save lives, and do what you're doing? How many people actually can do that?
I don't know, it's probably people doing it, but it took a while because when I first got out, I wanted to immediately go back in. But every time I got ready to go, they would slam the door. I mean, just kept on, but I kept on like praying. I was already writing inmates, sending them letters. We was doing Atlanta Attack newsletters. I mean, that started right when I came home. But we believe God's timing is always right. Sometimes we want things to happen, but the timing is not right. So we just stay persistent, and we live this, man. We really live this. So what you got to say about that, babe?
Yeah, that, I like to say that anybody can do that. Anybody, anyone who's maybe sitting in a prison now, who may end up watching this, anything is possible. With God, all things are possible. We limit ourselves with our small thinking, and we limit God with thinking small. And there's no way to glorify Him in us making small of things. And so, the thing it's done for me is help me to see that, man, with God, anything is possible. Like, if you just have to put some hard work in, you have to make sacrifice to see something like this happen. But it's so rewarding and so worth it when you go in and you share this with somebody and literally they cry and they tell you how grateful they are because now they have something that they can work with. And I think that's where maybe the system sometimes has failed us when we go to prison. There is programming, but really need to have some good tangible stuff to work on, and then that prepares them for when they get home.
Right.
And
They're in there and they're institutionalized.
yeah,
There's no real hope when you come out, or no vision for a future. You're
That's
just
it.
out.
yeah,
And this is showing what
yeah,
I read so far.
yeah. Because one of the biggest things
You
that we
walk by
hear,
God's faith, and faith takes action,
yeah,
first of all. And that took faith for them to come out, start a business, start writing a book, be inspired by God. But they didn't just sit still. That's what I'm hearing out of everything. You guys are busy doing work for God. And, you had, he got out and even tried to do concerts and other things. We'll talk about that some more, because that is where things really started to shift, what I'm gathering, shift in your thinking and your thought process. Maybe you could elaborate on that.
Well, I know, like, when you're away, when you're in prison, I know me, I was like, just wanting to come out and get busy for the Lord, because God gave me a promise in there that if I would seek Him, if I was really serious about Him, I told Him, if you let me win my appeal, man, I'll be so serious with you. I handle whatever you need me to handle. And I want to keep that promise to Him. People always ask me, man, how you and Kathy do so much? In John 9:4, it says, as long as it is day, we must work for Him while it's day. So long as it's day, we need to work. And I don't got no time, man. I sat in prison for 13 years. I ain't got no time to just be sitting around. I'm busy for the kingdom, and that's what we do.
He's not kidding.
I mean, people
Really
see
is.
us doing everything, and we're doing it, but we gotta, first of all, let me tell you this. Kathy is my first ministry. My son is my first ministry. I gotta make sure I'm taking care of that first. Make sure my vertical is right, then my horizontal is right. But I gotta make sure my relationship with her is right. Then I gotta do kingdom business, man. I ain't got time to be, I wasted too many years in the world doing whatever I was doing. But now it's about God's business, man. We live this. We eat this. We're about this.
Right. Now, this book it's out now. I'm gonna show it to you again. I'm gonna zoom in on this later, maybe. We'll see. But this book is available in all the kind of outlets that you get any kind of book from. So don't be held back. And it's available. We just got the proof of it all. This is the first book. But it's out there on different, tell us where they can
Yeah,
find
it's
it.
available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. There's an ebook version on that for Kindle. So yeah, I mean, it's available pretty much anywhere. The Barnes and Noble will be available in about 3 weeks from now, 3 to 4 weeks. So that one takes a little bit longer to get it on there, but it's already up on Amazon. You can order a copy today and have it within a day or two, so.
Cool. Okay, what's your plans for book signings and tours and all that? I know you got something in store for everybody.
We're gonna sit down within the next week and map it out. We're gonna go to Winslow, Flagstaff, Tucson, California, Virginia. We're going everywhere and do book signings and probably a little small seminar telling what we do. And not only do we want to do that, but when we go to these places, we want to go to the prison.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. I mean, that's what we're called for. So if you got cousins, brothers, nephews in prison, send them this book, because this will prepare them, because this is strategies and things that we use. I heard Dr. Ray Kirkland, I went to California with him a couple months ago, and he did a sermon about the key. Like anytime you have a key, it's notches in there. But when you put the right key in there, you hear a click. This book is the click for inmates and convicts and people in prison. This book is going to click, going to open the door to their success, to freedom.
Freedom from the inside out.
And not only if you're not in prison, it's so many people out here in prisons in the street. So this is for them too. It's geared for inmates, but it's for people out here too. So don't say, oh, just because I'm not an inmate.
So this is just life strategy.
Yeah, life strategies.
Life strategies, key principles. There's something in here that was amazing in the very beginning, called the foreword. Tell the story about the foreword with Charles. That is just simply incredible when they hear the backstory of this man and how this all came about, because this is great.
Well, the forward is a guy, man. One of my best friends. He's like a brother to me. We have a Bible study that we do in Gilbert, and it's some guys I grew up with, the Doucette brothers, DeVille Rodriguez, just a bunch of awesome men. And this guy named is Chuck Mount, Charles Mount. He was a decorated police officer. I mean, 32 years, bomb squad. I mean, decorated. But let me tell you, when I told him that I wanted him to write the foreword, he wrote the foreword in one day because he loves me and he loves the God in me. So he wrote the foreword, but he didn't want to put all his credentials on there, and because he's a humble man of God, so he didn't want to do that. I almost had to beg him. I almost had to go.
I had to call him.
No, Kathy had to call
I
him.
did. I had to say,
Yeah,
Chuck,
use that smile.
please, I need you to do this for me, please.
Because he didn't want to glorify himself, because he's really an awesome man of God, and so he wrote the foreword to it. And when you guys read it, you guys are going to see, man, this dude, he loves me to death, me and Kathy both. And he wrote the foreword, man. I was going to have my pastor, some other people wrote it, but a mentor of ours who does books, he said, man, you got to have somebody like a warden, somebody in law enforcement. And I was like, wow, I got the perfect guy. So I called him the next day. He was honored and did it, and he did a great job. Just reading the foreword would be a good thing for you.
It's inspirational. It's life-changing. It kind of sets the tone for the next chapter and the chapters after. It's a perfect foreword for
Yeah.
the book. I mean, I read a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I read that and it's like, wow. When you see his accolades and where his backstory is, it's
He actually had that to us within an hour or two.
Like, yeah.
Ray talked to him that morning early, because he gets up early.
Mhm.
And I would say by about 8 or 9 that morning, he already had emailed it to us. So it's something that he just sat down and did, and it was just worded so correctly. Everything was just, so Chuck, we just want to say thank you for just making yourself available and, giving us that, just the wonderful way you spoke about both of us. It's just such a blessing, and it's humbling to us.
Now, there's a part in here too about, leads into your cousin, but was it a God thing?
Is it a good idea or a God idea?
Yeah, that's it. Talk about that, because that, when you read that part, we can't tell you the whole book, but there's little keys we give you.
Let me start off and then Ray can finish up.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've noticed and that is that a lot of times when we do time, when we've been incarcerated and you get released and you're sober and you're thinking straight, right, and you're in a different place than you were when you went to prison. A lot of times we're really rambunctious and you're really excited about getting out and doing things. What we talk in the book about is making sure that the things that you put into action, that they're not just good ideas, they're God ideas. And what we share in the book is we share some of our successes, but we also share some of our failures, because that's transparency. We didn't make all the right decisions.
No.
We made mistakes and we learned from them, and so we want to share those with other people so that they don't make the same mistakes. But that leads right into Ray's story. He shares one of the examples of having a good versus a God idea.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah, so when I was incarcerated, well, before I was incarcerated, some people know I have a cousin, close cousin, friend of mine, friend like a brother. He's a famous rapper. I mean, Mac 10. He's a famous rapper, big time, West Coast, awesome, great guy. So anyway, when I was in, most of his success I seen while I was in prison. So I was going to start a bodyguard service before I went in with him, and also I was going to do a promotion company with him before I went in. So all them years I'm in, I'm like, man, I want to do that when I get out. So as soon as I got out, I was like, I'm doing a big concert. I mean, I really wanted to do it, but come on, I've been gone 13 years. I didn't know what was going on. I was barely learning how to text. How to use my phone. The phones are like out of this world to me when you've been in there. So anyway, I hit the ground rolling. I called him, told him I wanted to do a show, and he even advised me, I don't know, Kim Folk, I don't know if you're ready to do that. And that's what he told me a couple times. But I was like, no, I want to do it. But my thing was, I didn't really just want to bring a Christian, a gangster rapper or a rapper. I wanted my hook was to get him, because everybody knew him, but I was going to bring Christian rappers. So use him as the bait, the hook, and then bring Christian rappers to get the word out. That was my thinking. But I just didn't know how to do it, really. I had some great people helping me, but it was just too big of a magnitude and it was good. The show went off. Everybody loved it. But I lost all my little money, I lost all my good idea. Yeah.
Or a God
Not
idea.
so
Or a God idea.
That's where this came.
So would you say that if you would have asked God and waited for him to answer you?
I asked him, but I didn't wait for him. I told
Okay,
people I
well, there we
waited
have
for
it.
him, but I didn't wait for him. I
You
was
say,
like,
oh God, is this okay? All right, good. I'm glad you said yes.
now mind you, I did this big show within 30 days of
30
coming home,
days.
30, 40 days. I mean, and it was good. We blocked off the street. Shout out to Winslow, the Falcon, who they blocked off the street. We did all this stuff, and a lot of people showed up. But even then, even in that little town, people was hating on me. You bring a gospel rapper, LA gangbanger is gonna come. It was crazy. So they scared a bunch of people away. People didn't want to come because they thought they might get shot. And wasn't even nothing gonna happen. Nothing did happen. But the fear of the unknown, and then I didn't know how to combat that or whatever. So
Well, sometimes fear takes people down a dark trail that they don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing, and it's hard to combat that.
yeah,
But that's where God leads us and it directs us. But perhaps some of that fear is because you didn't wait
yeah,
for
that's
God.
right, that's right.
And then, that
Yeah.
kind of, that was another sign, like, hey, well, because he tries to reach us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And because our backgrounds aren't that far apart.
Right, that's right, that's
And He tried to reach me 1,000,000 times. And I was just so hard at it. And man, I look back and I'm like, oh God, thank you for just letting me get through my hard headedness,
Yeah.
my stubbornness.
That's right.
But that's what this book's about is helping them jump over the mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, if you do it God's way, you're on the right way.
Yeah.
And you don't have to walk down the trail of fear. And be tormented, because fear can torment you. So I'm just going to ask you to order the book, go to Amazon, and be out in Barnes & Noble soon. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, wherever their social medias are. Order the book, get the book, come to the signings that they're going to be, and tell your family about it if you have family or friends in prison and you want them to receive the help that they need, the blessing that they need, or if you can get a speaking engagement for them, help them out. Spread the word. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make mention of the fact that the proceeds, that the money that we get from the book funds us being able to go into the prisons and take teams, because it's not just Ray and I. There's no way he and I can reach the masses. So what we're doing is we're training up a team of people who are coming up underneath us, and we take them in. We teach the curriculum. We actually do like 2 to 3 day workshops with the inmates. And a lot of these guys are already on yards that are getting ready to get released. They're pre-release yards.
Right.
So, the money is going towards that, because we don't get paid to do that. That's just done out of our own pockets, if you will. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to do the book, so that it can help fund the ministry that we, the call that we have, to go into the prisons. And we don't want to just touch Arizona. We want to go across the country.
Right.
We know that,
Well, we got to go across the world.
across the
That's
world.
what God wants us to do with His Word. And this is divinely appointed anyway, because of the way He talked about it coming about.
Yeah.
See, because even right now we have with Prison Fellowship, we have access to 3 states right now. Nathan Hale, who's like one of our mentors, he's over Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico. So we're going to get in those three states, but this money is going to help us. Like every time we go in, we take dudes that were in prison, we take them with us, and then it's street cred, it's credibility, man. When 2 weeks ago we went in to Tucson, Manzanita prison, and we took an awesome, powerful man of God named Pastor Don Williams. He's a big time singer. We got to have him here. Big time singer, have a big church in LA, but he did federal time. So he's over there, when he tells the guys that, man, they get instant credibility, man. And then, we done took a guy named Ricky Torres. He, big time, was in prison for years. We took him in there into Buckeye. And every time we're going to take different guys, the same guys, but guys from prison, we're going to take them, build them up, take them in there to teach this, because we know this works.
Amen.
So to help us out, man, I love, people ask me, do you have a congregation? The prison is our congregation. The prisoners is our congregation. That's my mission field. Like some people go to Africa, some people go to Israel. I go to the penitentiary. That's where we go. But I mean, not that we're not going to go to them other places, but that's my mission field. That's our mission field, and we don't mind going. So if you don't want to go, help us go. Everybody out there, man, got somebody or cousins, friends that the penitentiary doesn't touch, or that's in the penitentiary.
Yep.
So if you don't go visit them, we'll write them letters. So Facebook me, message me somebody's name, address, I'll write them a letter. That's what we do. We'll write them a letter.
All right. Ray and Kathy Land, right here at Christian Radio. Buy the book, 5 Keys.
5 key principles to freedom from the inside out.
Freedom. You want to be free.
The Bible says who the Son sets free is free indeed.
You are now listening to
Have a
Land
good day.
Attack.
Love
Ray and
you.
Kathy Land.
And God's best be yours.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Land attack in the house. Land attack in the house now. Land attack in the house. Land attack attacking the house now. Land attacking the house. Land attacking the house now. Land attacking the house. Land attacking the house now. Land attacking the house. Land attacking the house now. Land attacking the house. Land attacking the house now. Land attacking the house. Land attacking the house now. Land attacking the house. Land attacking the house now.
Remember when they hate you, that they hated me first. The world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it from me. The world didn't give it to me. The world can't take it from me. The world didn't give it to me.
The world didn't give it to me.